Okay guys, here's the deal. I love making YouTube videos, but I get sidetracked, and that makes me do other things. And those other things, they get a little bit bigger every now and then, and they just kind of keep growing. So we're making a mod. The mods, if you scroll down on my YouTube videos, you can see that I have a keen interest towards the Backrooms, right? The Backrooms. I love the Backrooms, and well, you should too. So I'm gonna share my love for the Backrooms with you guys. I'm making my own Backrooms mod. Like, you tell me, Rebo, make some Backrooms lobbies carpets, and I'm like, okay, and then I make some really, textures. We'll call them textures. It's fun. I have zero mod experience. I don't know how to make the mod, but that's not gonna stop me from trying. So, let's contact up Mango a little bit. He told me to stop including him in all my stupid shit. I'm just gonna pester him. See, that's the beauty of having friends. I get to pester him until he does it. Huzzah! Okay, so let's start working on it. I reworked all of those god-awful textures from before, so now we have this really nice looking carpet for the block. When you place it down, it has custom noises and whatnot. And I reworked it to where the baseboard looks very nice and the wallpapers are slightly weird. When I say slightly weird, I mean, like, if you look at it, you can see the textures are slightly off, but that also makes it look like the walls are moving. I'm not that upset about it. So it looks kind of nice, and as you're moving, it looks like the walls are moving and kind of shifting around you, giving it that eerie feeling. After the walls, carpet, and baseboard walls, I really just needed to work on the ceiling lights, and I needed to work on the ceiling office tiles. With the office tiles, I wanted to give it that, like, old ceiling tile look, like the ones where you would punch them out as a kid, where you'd accidentally hit them and they'd pop out of place and you get dust in your eyes, that whole awful thing. As I did that, I wanted to make sure it kind of looked like that and felt like it, giving it that distinct outline. I got to the fluorescent lights where I reworked them, make them look really nice, and they actually work this time. When I say this silly little redstone activation took me 3 days to figure out, I mean it. I had to ask the Fazcraft devs on what to do, and it was a silly little checkbox. A silly checkbox is what took up 3 days of my life. Hey, but now it works! While looking at literally everything else on every other Backrooms picture, image, or any sort of media that I could get my hands on, I noticed that the walls were never correct, just like the original photo from 4chan. And there was moist carpet. So I decided to add a little bit of that so my builds can have variation and so you guys at home can play on this mod and make a little bit of variation for yourself. With this, I added the wallpaper slab for the lobby, or level 0, and the moist carpet. With all the stuff that has just been added, I was really scratching my head on figuring out what I need to add to this level specifically next. Because I don't want it to be just like every other Backrooms mod where it's just level 0 and you roam infinitely. I want there to be more purpose. So I was thinking I could add some new areas. I wanted these areas to be purposeful but original, so I added one of each. I wanted the purposeful area to be more like the Manila room, a room that you can find in level 0 that kind of teaches you about, like, no clipping, so maybe that will be our transition to level 1 eventually in the future. But the original idea, I wanted to make the wall insulation an area you can explore, but not the walls, more like the ceilings, because I always loved the idea of popping out those ceiling tiles and crawling through them. Never that I got to do that, but I love the thought of that being something that you could do, so I'm gonna take that little childhood idea and we're gonna put it into our level 0 design. So as this was going on, I just begun stylizing how I think the insulation areas of the levels would go and how awesome it would be. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't adding any unnecessary things to this level, because as we're continuing this, and the mod expands as it gets larger and larger with more levels, I want it to where the player will want to get to the hub level where they can eventually just hop in between levels back and forth. So each level has their own purpose. Level 0 will be the intro, and maybe I'll add a little purpose later on along the lines once I learn more about how mod creation works. But really, I just want to make it to where you cannot get wood in this level because it wouldn't make sense. So when I'm decorating, I want to make sure that we can use the trapdoors for the decoration, but I wanted to make sure that wood is not something you can get through this level. Okay, so I went ahead and just added this cool little area, this cool little block specifically, and when you hit it, it does nothing. But how do you get popped out ceiling tiles to punch out? You punch them. So you can go straight through the ceiling tile block and then continue your little adventure now in the insulation part. Also, if you punch it, you get hurt, so yeah, because you're not supposed to touch insulation, etc. But the idea is so you can just jump through them and just go along your little way, maybe getting to areas you couldn't access before through the ceiling and insulation. Something that's definitely wanted for while we're doing this is survival friendliness. We at least want the player to kinda have some sort of survivability in every level. So for this level, we just have moldy water bottles. Obviously, you shouldn't drink them because moldy water is not good for you. Do not drink moldy water, please. So it will fill a little bit of your hunger because you're at least eating or drinking something, but it will poison you as kind of a reverse effect of rotten flesh. Now to kind of like describe the purpose or use of the Manila Room and kind of show off all the cool blocks that I'm making. The purpose of the Manila Room is just really gonna be a way for you to figure out what you're supposed to do. So after exploring for a while, with a rare chance you could find a Manila Room. And this Manila Room will explain to you what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. Eventually, I do want the Manila Room to be your transportation from level 0 to level 1, but right now we don't have level 1 done. Eventually it will be done, and eventually the Manila Room is how you will get a book to figure out how to no-clip and how to no-clip into the next level. Speaking of no-clipping, I have not even touched on the idea of how you're going to get into the Backrooms. So with enough pestering, I got Mango to help come up with this idea of how we're going to transfer our player from the overworld to the back. The idea is we have a chance of certain grass blocks to be swapped out with bugged grass. It will just be our block, and once you walk onto it, it'll immediately teleport you to the Backrooms. Now, this would be nice if we had all the generation and structures set up correctly for the Backrooms dimension, but we don't. So after I quickly set up a couple of these structures, it took me a while, but after I set up a couple of these structures, I got everything ready and it's all working. I put some noise in there, some sound effects, slapped it all together, and officially level 0 is done. So here, take a little bit of a look through. I'm just gonna do a little bit of an ambience walkthrough, and then I'll talk about stuff afterwards. Skip to this if you don't want to listen to the ambient stuff. Please do though, I spent some time on it. Here's a picture of all the rest of the blocks that have been added. Okay, that's basically the entire experience right now. There will be stuff in between when this video releases and how everything's done by the time you download it. But when this video releases, the mod should be out there. And speaking of that, if you want to go check out the mod, make sure you check out the link in the description. Yeah, it's linked in the description. And I got another mod coming up, and I promise there are other videos. I've just been so jam-packed with life lately. It's been a little chaotic, but tons of content. I just need to edit all that stuff. I have all the videos ready. I got it. I just gotta edit it for you guys. And then we got some new stuff, new videos, new coolness. Just make sure you stay tuned for all of that. Thank you guys for being so patient with me, and I hope you enjoy this new mod. Adios.